like again, winning a national championship at the highest level, and knowing that I should feel a sense of like pride in this accomplishment, but I really didn't.
Wow.
And I felt bad about that.
This is born to the game, where legacy speaks in every beat and rhyme. The passion it peaks. We're writing our own verse in this timeless song. With swagger in our stride, this is where we belong. Born to the game, carrying the flame. Echoes of the past, but it's a new name. Through highs and lows, we rise and proclaim. This is born to the game, where legacy speaks for itself.
Welcome to Born to the Game, a space where legacy speaks for itself. The series is produced in partnership with Inflection Network and distributed through iHeartRadio. Each episode, we sit down with the children of iconic athletes, entertainers, and cultural figures to talk about identity, pressure, purpose, and what it really means to build a name of your own. Our next guest knows basketball in a way very few people do. He's a son of an NBA coach and a former player known for his decade-long playing career after starring at Missouri, and a distinguished coaching path including head roles with the Atlanta Hawks, Milwaukee Bucks, and interim head coach for the Cleveland Cavaliers, working under Tyronn Lue in recent years and winning an NBA title as an assistant, Larry Drew Sr., which means basketball wasn't just a sport growing up, it was the environment.
And today we're diving into what it was really like growing up courtside, navigating expectations, and finding his own identity within a legendary world.
Please welcome my dear friend and brother from another, Larry Drew Jr. Woo!
Welcome.
That's probably one of the coldest intros I've ever had.
Did you like it?
That was great. Yeah,
Welcome.
appreciate you.
You
Glad to be
know,
here. Glad
you
to be
know
here.
I had to have you.
Well, look, I just want to give y'all flowers for a second because we are family. We go
Yeah,
back, so
we
it's
go way
like
back.
this is super important for me to be here, show support, but then also just knowing love. Anything I can do to help you. You know what I'm saying? Anything I can do. It's always that.
So we just recently moved our studio from Atlanta to LA, and you're the
Yeah.
first person I thought of.
Literally, she
Literally the
I
first
remember when
person.
you told me that you
Yes.
were getting ready to start doing the podcast.
Yes.
You were trying to get me on last season, but
Yeah.
LA, Atlanta,
timing.
timing.
She
Yeah.
definitely was bringing you up in the beginning
Cool.
when we first
Well, I'm
started.
glad we got to make it happen. I can't wait to get
Because when I say we go way back, like we go way back. Our moms
Yeah.
were pregnant at the same time. Our
Yep.
dads played together.
Yep.
Sacramento, right?
Yeah,
but in Kansas City.
Kansas City Kings, and I
Yep.
remember at one point, I want to say they were like flip flop or
Oh, wow.
No, they definitely played
They
together.
played together for
but
sure.
Then I forgot how they ended up not being on the same team. But by the time I was born and we were born,
Oh, yeah.
like I said, it was like family. You know what I'm saying?
We used to terrorize. We used to terrorize these little
Well,
locker rooms in the streets.
this is all before like social media,
Yeah.
internet. Yeah, it was before the internet.
It was.
It was right before the internet.
It was way before.
So families, I think back then too, it was just a little bit more personable with how they were looking to go about just even speaking on, like, obviously we're not blood related, but
Yeah.
my whole life growing up, I legit thought
we
the
thought we were
Woodses in
cousins.
some way, shape, or form, we were blood related.
Yeah.
And, it carries forth even to this day. So
Yeah. No. So we want you here just to tell your story because you have a unique experience being the son of an NBA coach, NBA player, and then you also pursued basketball
I did.
at the highest level. You pursued
I
it
did.
in college. You were a top recruit. So we want to get into just your journey of growing up in it and transitioning from basketball into the real world and just the pressure and the expectations that you faced. But first, I want to ask you, what was your earliest memory of being Larry Drew Sr.'s son? So, like, what was that moment you had where you were like, oh, shoot, Dad is a NBA player. Like, this is pretty cool.
Honestly, it wasn't just any one moment. I mean, outside of, I think, when I just started to recognize a little bit more about like his influence.
Okay.
Even like within the organization with the Lakers. And
Okay.
it was when he used to come home and talk about being involved with this recruiting trip or like this project, so to speak, but like he was looking at Kobe, right? He was part of the whole, should we, bring in this kid and get rid of, you know, some of these superstars on the team currently.
Wow, okay.
But, you know, he used to be in the kitchen, used to talk, you know, on the phone, you know, to whoever, you know, Laker execs. And I remember one time being in the kitchen just hearing the excitement that he had in his voice, because I think he had just went in and watched Kobe work out maybe against Eddie Jones one-on-one.
Wow.
And the things that he was saying that Kobe had done to him in that one-on-one, you know, workout.
What did he do? He took his ankles? What was he doing?
Probably rocked him out.
Rocked him out.
You know, I
Okay.
mean, so yeah, I think too, just like, again, and then obviously like witnessing Kobe's legacy.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
then thinking back, like, dang, you know, I remember my dad legit like having these conversations with me, like, son, is this kid, he's coming to the league, like, we got a chance to get him, and I think we gonna pull some triggers. I'm like, okay.
You're like, okay.
I'm 6 years old, you know.
Right.
I was gonna ask you, so how old were you?
I was six. I was
Okay.
6. But yeah, you know, just having the opportunity, I think, to like experience firsthand, you know, the inner workings of these teams, the organizations. And again, it wasn't really until like my birthday, right? So you know, I go to school. I would have like a birthday party, cool. I want to say it was maybe my 4th or my 5th party I had. It was at Corbin Bowl.
Okay.
Shaq came. And
No big deal.
Just
Yeah, no big deal. Shocking.
yeah, Shaq came to my party, and it was funny. So like, again, when I realized my dad was like, you know, oh, you got some pull.
Yeah.
So like, some of my friends in my class, it was kind of like, you know, I'm starting to learn, kind of, you know, hey, I'll be your friend if you do this for me. Hey,
That's
look,
what
you
they're
should.
saying to you?
Yeah, you know what I mean? To try to like, you know,
okay.
just like little manipulation,
Yeah.
little things like kids do. And then so with the whole Shaq thing, it made me realize like, oh, I can start to leverage some of these opportunities that I have, some of these events or experiences that I may be throwing on my own, and then I can either include or not include you. But this is all made possible because of my pops. So it's like, that's when I started to realize like, it's not just like a normal situation that I'm in. 'Cause it's like, so if somebody does something to me, I know you probably want some Lakers tickets, you probably might want some
Yeah.
Lakers gear or whatever, and it's like, I'm not just out here like trading, you know, paraphernalia for favors or for friendships, but don't get on my bad side. You feel what I'm saying? And then I was also good in basketball, so I had
That
kind of
part.
some pull on my own. You know, so it's just like, all right, I got skills. Thanks, pops. Oh, I can leverage some of these. You know, thanks,
Double
pops.
whammy.
Yeah.
So was that your dad introducing Kobe to you at 6 years old? Did that spark your dream
Well,
of
that's
becoming
when-
the next?
That's, I think, when, again, I think it all started to make sense to me. Just, again, like how involved he was within the process, within the organization.
Okay.
And then, like I said, so then once they brought Kobe onto the team, because I've been hearing these stories, you know, seeing my dad's excitement. I remember going to Summer League 96, 97. It was at Long Beach, the Pyramid.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was my first time going to a Summer League. I wasn't aware of NBA Summer League at the
And
time.
you're what? 7?
I'm like 6, 7 years old.
6 or 7. Okay.
So again, it's my first time experiencing Summer League. And then so we go out to Long Beach, and again, it's not the actual season, it's Summer League. So I'm kind of confused. I'm like, what are we doing? And
Yeah.
like, my dad is like, oh, we're going to a game. It's a Summer League game. So we get to this game, and it's packed, sold out, like at this college arena. And everybody's here to see Kobe, right? And again, that's when I started to realize, like, okay, he was talking about the kind of impact he was going to have, and I'm seeing it. And he bought out that game too.
Wait,
Wow.
so you were there
Oh, yeah.
when Kobe was just entered the league at Summer League? You were at the game?
Oh yeah,
That's insane.
I
didn't know
remember.
that.
I remember going to a couple practices too, his rookie year, and having just, you know, I'm a kid. I'm curious, right? And I'm looking up at him. And I remember my dad kind of telling me too, like, he's a kid, and I'm like, this is one of the biggest kids I've ever seen. But
That's a big kid.
they talk about him like he's
Yeah.
a kid, right? So
Yeah.
let me go
Yeah.
see what this, you know,
What he was
hey
doing.
friend, yeah.
Yeah.
So I go talk to him. He was super humble. He talked to me like I wasn't a kid for real.
Yeah.
You know, just asking me questions. Who are you? What do you like to do? Oh, you think you can play? So then he'll get on the court, show me a couple things. Before you know it, we just you know, we just out there. But I would have moments like these and memories like these again, and try to correlate it all to, you know, my upbringing. Like, how does this, like, what do these insights, you know, mean for real?
Yeah.
Ultimately, again, it's just like having, again, just the ability to have these types of insights, experiences.
Yeah.
It's really not until time progresses and, you know,
Yeah.
you're a little bit later on in life that you start to, I think, value a little bit more importantly.
Yeah.
Because again, when you're a kid, you don't really, like,
You're not
you don't.
It doesn't click yet,
Yeah.
like what you're being exposed to.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
at what age would you say? So at 6 years old, you meet one of the most iconic sports figures ever.
well, yeah, he's like my idol to this
Yeah.
day.
So my question is, at what age did you start like taking basketball seriously, and at what age did you realize I can have a career in this?
Truth be told, there was no age.
No, you just from birth, really, like
Yeah,
when you
like I said, I
introduced yourself,
kinda
like
just-
when you came here. When you
I was
got
just
Earthside.
inundated with basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Before I even, and again, it's probably my pops, right?
Yeah.
Just keeping the ball in my hand and
Yes.
teaching me basics, right?
Yeah.
Like how to just dribble, like, you know, I had the little tiny tight hoops, right?
Yeah.
So before I even was thinking about the NBA or the league or I'm just having fun, right?
Yeah.
Naturally took a liking to the game. So it made it easier for my parents to,
Yeah.
you know, continue
keep you in
putting me
it.
in front, right? But two, yeah, like I was good at it. So it did a lot for my confidence and my self-esteem, especially early on. And
When
I
did you
think-
realize you were good at it? Like, was it middle school? Was it
Nah.
elementary school? You realized?
No, I knew pretty much right away.
Okay. Okay.
Like it was only
Okay.
because again, it's like it's me being candid. So like I would go to school in the valley, you know, I went to private school, you know, white kids, what
Yeah.
have you. But my mom, she grew up in South Central. So after school, she would take me over into the city, the hood, what, you know, Crenshaw, YMCA,
And she would
Inglewood,
just throw you out there.
YMCA, Rancho Cienega, but I was always playing up too.
Okay.
You know, so by the time I would get back over, you know, into my neighborhood, if you will, and I'm playing, you know, against kids in my grade, it's just like, you know, from preschool, kindergarten, first grade, I was so much better than everybody that,
Wow.
you know, I didn't think much of it until I started to, again, like recognize, like, oh, people are treating me different because, you know, oh, they want to pick me now on their team for like capture the flag, or like because I'm fast, or because, you know, I can jump high, right?
Yeah.
Or what have
You can handle the ball.
Can handle
really
the ball,
well.
yeah. So I had like N1 clothes, I had like NBA socks and like Lakers
Yeah.
gear, and you know I was, you know, young swaggy kid on the block.
Yeah.
But ultimately, again, like it wasn't nothing I was thinking about. Like,
Okay.
oh, I'm better than this person. Like, you know, I want to go to the NBA. You know, I really was just captivated by the story of my
Okay.
childhood because I had such a good childhood, right? Like,
Wow.
I don't think my parents really wanted me looking at the NBA thinking like, oh, I gotta make it there. It was like, watch Sesame Street, watch Barney, go to, you know, go to the birthday parties, go play outside in the park, go to, you know, be a kid for as long as you can, but you know, you do gotta hang your hat somewhere on something. And my dad, he never pushed basketball. It was always just leadership. Just be a leader in whatever you do. Don't
Okay.
follow the crowd. You know, if basketball's not what you want to do, I'm not here to force it on you. So
Okay.
he definitely made that a point too.
So I was gonna ask. Well, first, was your dream to become an NBA player, and how was it when you're realizing that you have game and you can
Yeah.
play at the next level? How was the dynamic between you and your dad? Did you allow him to coach you?
Oh yeah.
How
Well,
was-
Yeah. So again, it's like the time aspect, right?
Yeah.
So my dad was always dad. He was never really a coach to me.
Coach Drew. Okay.
Though is what he does professionally. So I know, like, you know, and it wasn't until I got a little bit older I would have like, say, workouts, right? Or like my dad would come to the school, or I'll have some of my friends come to the house, or we would meet somewhere at the gym, and my dad would work us out. And
Okay.
I would see the difference in how, like, when he talked, how they would, you know what I'm saying, lock eyes, like a 10 head kind of a thing. And, you know, I might be a little bit more lackadaisical, kind of goofing off or whatever because he's my dad, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, enough scenarios, situations like that, you just start to peep, like, okay, my friends have a certain level of respect for my pops. I understand why. you know, and it just kind of started having me, I think, like, just become a little bit more aware.
Okay. So before we get into the pressure and the expectations, what was the hardest part about growing up and playing with a dad like Larry Drew Sr.?
I think the hardest part is just, I think too, maybe because in my case, we have the same name, so there is some pressure, for sure. You can't escape it.
Right.
Yeah, you feel like you have big shoes to fill.
Yeah, in one way or another, it's never. Honestly, I always thought I was better than my pops. So,
I would agree with that.
I always, you know, we used to play 1-on-1 all the time. I used to really feel like I could take him and beat him, and I was better than him, even though he never used to let me win.
Yeah.
I used to still feel like I was better than him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, it was just, it was always something that, you know, again, he pretty much just told me, he was like, look, son, like, I'm not here to force you into this. Again,
Yeah.
I think too, in part because of his upbringing, like growing up in the Midwest, and like, you know, in his family, there was really no other option for it. It was like you was going, shoot, you didn't really have any choices. To be
Yeah, it was
honest with
either,
you.
that was his way.
Well,
of
a lot
making it
of like my siblings on my dad's side gravitated towards the church.
Okay.
So like I have family in the church on my dad's side back in like Kansas City. But he was just athletic, knew he wanted to get out of that environment and ultimately hang his hat on something that, you know, in a competitive way. So he played baseball a lot growing up.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He tried to get me into baseball
I didn't know
early,
that.
but I wasn't good in baseball. But he loved baseball for sure. But then he used to tell this story about, he did play basketball at the same time he was playing baseball, but he had a love for baseball more than he had for basketball.
Oh, wow.
And then it wasn't until he was like, I want to say, I forget this guy's name, Darnell Valentine. You probably tell it better than me, but
Valentine.
there's this guy in my dad's life that some rival from around his way back where he grew up, and he said this guy Darnell Valentine got the best of him in one of the games and just like embarrassed him. But he was like, he said that physically his stature, this guy Darnell Valentine, he was like, his legs were like
Big.
so big, but he was like he was a point guard, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, he could sit down on defense or like pick him up full court and just made his life like, you know, miserable. Right? In that game, in that moment, you know, whatever it was, and my dad was like, that's when I realized I needed legs like that. And I needed to get on his level physically and condition myself. And then he said when he started to basically just try and like condition and physically get in shape to play at that level that whoever it was that he competed against was, that's when he saw his game take off. And he was like, all right, I can make a living playing basketball.
Wow. Well, that perfectly segues into just us talking a little bit about your pressure and the expectations.
So you were one of the top high school recruits in the country, and won the John R. Wooden High School Player of the Year award in 2008. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What was the experience like that at such a young age to have such an accomplishment?
You know, it was an honor for sure. I wasn't even, I didn't even recognize the weight of the award too at the time, right? Because I think, you know, at that time in my life, coming out of high school, I was very naive. Just put it like that. I thought I knew more than I did. And the things I probably should have been paying attention to a little bit more back then, I wasn't. And in my mind, all I knew was, you know, I'm here now. I'm about to take this next step. So, you know, I'm 18, about to go to college. There's not too many more levels in between where I'm at now and where I'm trying to get to. So that was really all that I was looking at in my mind, was to say, like, you know, great for my resume so that these teams know, you know, come draft time who they're getting. But, like, you know, it's just another award, I guess, to me. That's kind of how I looked at it. But I remember the ceremony shoot. It was Steph Curry got awarded, I think, same time.
Wow.
Drew Holiday, I think, maybe it got an award. So
I know it's a very special award.
No, it was special. It still is, like, you know, I still got the award, don't get me wrong. But like I said, I I was just looking at like, all right, yeah, this is cool, but like, what's next? Like,
Right.
you know.
So how was your process of choosing where you would go next, as far as your education and where you wanted to play?
So this is kind of why I say I was a little naive.
Okay.
But and it's not the reason why I was naive. I had my parents involved
Right.
heavily, and they definitely helped guide me through what I should be looking for,
Okay.
knowing ultimately it was gonna be my decision. But what ended up happening was, so I was actually recruited by, I think the only school I didn't have a scholarship from that I was like kind of counting and just looking at and being like, all right, where is this school? It was Duke. And we had a tournament in North Carolina my sophomore season. It was 2006. It's called the GlaxoSmithKline tournament. And I had a decent tournament, and I remember we're in the airport, my high school team about to head back. We're checking our bags, and then my coach, he's like, hey, Larry, like, somebody's on the phone, wants to talk to you. It was Mike Krzyzewski. And he was like, hey, son, like, we saw you at the tournament, whoop-de-whoop, want to offer you a scholarship. And I told him on the phone I wasn't interested.
Just casually, like,
Just no thanks.
Just because I was like,
you had so many other
in my mind, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
tongue tie offers. I was trying to say options.
Option offers.
at the
Option
same
offers.
time.
But just because I was like, oh, you interested now?
Yeah,
I'm not, kind of a thing.
So
Naive,
looking
right?
back,
So by the time I did
Right.
narrow down my choices, I narrowed it down to 3 schools. It was UCLA, Arizona, and North Carolina. And this is strictly off of aura.
Okay.
Like, UCLA is in my backyard. I love
Yep.
UCLA. I used to go up there all the time. Hoop, knew the staff pretty well. And I just like the idea of staying home too, to a degree. Arizona wasn't that far away, but they had a very rich tradition of developing point guards.
Okay.
And, I like what the school was about. And at that time, too, I was into astronomy, and I had a really cool astronomy department. So there was that. And then Carolina was actually the only school that I took my official visit to. But it wasn't until I told UCLA that I was getting ready to take my official visit to North Carolina. I want to say 2006, 2007. They kind of got a little nervous about that and was like, well, nah, we don't think you should go. You should probably just commit to us right now. And I was like, I kind of want to go through the process, see what's out there. And they told me straight up, they was like, okay, well, if you go on this trip, we're going to basically rescind your scholarship and give it to somebody else. Yeah, and I was like, do it.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was why I didn't end up going to UCLA first. Then I had a tournament in Arizona with Pump and Run, Cactus Classic. Had a pretty good tournament. I was scheduled to meet with Lou Olson at the time after the tournament to do a non-official visit.
He was with who?
Arizona. Yep.
Okay.
So me and Brandon Jennings were actually on the campus at different parts of the campus getting shown around on the same day.
Okay.
And by the time we both had our conversations with Lou, which were at different times, by the time I had my conversation with Lou, he was like, I told Brandon the same thing. We had 2 scholarships available. We'd love both of you, but we understand that both of y'all probably wouldn't, work with
Y'all
one
in
of,
the same
I'm saying, the same position,
Okay.
Same type of deal.
Okay.
So he was like, whoever commits first,
Gets it.
kind of a thing.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, cool.
Ooh, the pressure.
I know.
Jesus.
It's just
I thought it was interesting. Again, like just negotiation tactics, I
Right,
guess.
Yeah.
Like, men
I
who
mean,
are like
look at
much
you,
older than me.
You're looking at it from a wise perspective. I'm like,
Well, yeah, so I was like, okay,
like
cool. And,
ultimatums.
I like had some convos with my parents. They're like, all right, well, you see what happened with UCLA. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to jump on this, right, jump
Yeah.
on it. And I was like, okay, let me see how I feel tomorrow about it.
right.
Brandon landed back in LA. He ended up calling Coach Olson, committing, and having discussed it already with my parents, and they were like, all right, you should probably make a decision if there's something you're gonna do, just because of how you don't got too many options left after you narrowed it down to these 3. So once Brandon committed, I basically waited till I got home, and I knew already I was going to commit to North Carolina since I had told all the other schools that I had no interest. And so that ended up being why I committed to North Carolina and going to North Carolina.
Knew that. But North Carolina just came off of a championship, no? Did I make that up?
Let me see. When I got there in 2000,
I feel like they just won, or recently.
I got there in 2008,
Yeah.
2009. We won a championship my freshman year, but
Right.
the time prior to that they won was 2005. So
But they were on the map. Like everybody, like going to UNC was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Like even more so
Oh yeah.
compared to Arizona and UCLA. Like,
UNC
that was
is probably
that
like
was the
UNC,
premier-
UCLA, like Kansas,
Yeah.
Kentucky's. Like there's only a couple, like Michigan State for real. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. But so I didn't think much of it in the sense of like, oh, I'm losing out on anything because
Yeah.
UCLA or Arizona, like didn't work out for me. I'm like, oh, like I'll fall back on North Carolina.
which is so wild to say because I'm sure anybody else in your position, like that's their dream,
Right.
like number one option, and for you, like,
You're like, man.
These other two didn't
I'm not gonna
work.
say it was like,
Okay.
it was more so like I know I did the work. I put myself in position.
Right.
Like I'm a
Yeah.
commodity. Like,
I never knew this story. I'm learning something
This
new
is
about
awesome,
you.
in
I
real
love
time.
it. I'm literally.
a lot of
thinking
people
UNC
ask me like,
was,
why'd you go to
the
UNC?
dream
Why'd you go to
school?
like the ACC? And see, that's the thing. That's why I'm saying like, the naivety of it all is just that like at the time I wasn't as engaged with really dissecting what these conferences look like because in my mind I'm like, oh, it's a game, right? You just play this game anywhere you go.
Yeah.
But that's when I introduced to like the politics of it.
That's when you got introduced to the politics of it. Interesting.
It wasn't as fun anymore.
And you know what's crazy? Like I knew you were committing to UNC, and I told everybody. And I was in Katy, Texas at the time, because our mom spoke all the time about it. And when I tell you, I was telling everybody.
Just-
Oh no, I wasn't in Katy. I was in Atlanta at the time. And I bragged on you. I was
Just
like, yeah,
chatting.
my cousin, he just committed to UNC.
No, it was
He just committed. Oh no, I swear to God, I don't think I ever told you this. I got into it with somebody at my school.
because it was probably on my head, huh?
They was
on me.
trying to talk some shit, and I
Yeah.
said, "You ain't no Larry Drew." That's what I told him. I said, "You're not Larry Drew." I
So-
said, "Where are you going to school to play?"
So
Nowhere.
like, and that was the thing too, man, because like it was so crazy having like this sense of I'm just tethered to the court in real life,
Yeah.
and like people who have ideas of me that might not know. It's like, okay, cool. You can assume one thing. Like you might assume, I was put here because my father is who he is, or whatever. It's like, come guard me.
Yeah.
Come guard me.
Come,
Ooh.
come
Period.
come play. Like let's hoop. Like
Wow.
let's run it. Like
Yeah.
you'll find out why there's buzz, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, again, it's not enough in some places to just know that you're good.
Yeah.
Right? You kind of do need an environment and a supporting cast, and that's like, I realize that, especially coming like leaving home where my support was,
Yeah.
thinking and feeling like, again, all right, well, I'm my own support. I'm naive. Like you need like people around you that believe in you and are gonna uplift you for sure.
Yeah.
So that actually segues into my next question. So you have already made your own imprint on your own, just for your ability and your talent. But with your dad's background and your own success, did you feel the pressure to live up to expectations, whether spoken or unspoken? You spoke a little bit about it before, but
Yeah.
the pressure part.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that there was definitely some pressure to at least make the NBA at the very least.
Right.
And again, too, it's like, it's not easy, you know what I'm saying, to get to that level. So then I see the sacrifice like my parents make too. Like not just my dad, but then my mom,
Yep.
right? And it's like, shit, if it weren't for her, I wouldn't be, even with all the skills that my dad gave me,
Yes.
she still like made sure that I was able to compete and had me in a situation where I was able to do the things that I love. So she had no time for herself
Yeah.
because she made it all about me and my brothers. So at the very least, like I'm saying, I'm gonna pay it back
Yeah.
to her, to everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Like I gotta at the very least get to to the NBA so she
Yeah.
can feel proud.
Right.
And so, yeah, it was, it's definitely a lot of pressure, I think. And, for any kid that's born to the game, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be pressure for sure.
Yeah.
At some point, though, they make a decision to lead a life for themselves. But for me, the game of basketball, it was just like having a right or a left hand. It was because the ball was always there. You know what I'm saying? And part of what I did so well was like I was a facilitator, I was a playmaker, I could dribble.
Yep.
So I'm walking around my school dribbling the ball. Like teachers got to take the ball from me. I'm like, I don't have the ball. I'm still acting like I got the ball. Like I'm just, so this
Ball
is
was life.
this is how I was growing up. I remember at the Laker games. I'm 6, 7 years old. Remember little Jeff?
Yeah.
Osborne, me and him.
Yeah.
We used to wait for my dad and Big Jeff to come up from the locker rooms. And, like when the family stays after everybody else leaves the arenas.
Yeah.
So I remember my dad, he'd come up from the locker room, greet everybody. Now it's time to go outside, walk to the cars, and everybody depart. But me and little Jeffrey, we had this thing where my dad's shoulders, each shoulder could have been the rim. And we would just like play basketball. And like, so my dad is like walking out the arena and we're just like, just like jumping on my dad's shoulders and like, acting like we're dunking the ball and stuff.
Funny.
So it's just like,
Just being boys.
but yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. Like I just played because I like to play. You know what I'm saying? And basketball was just always like front and center. So I'm like, I see like the Showtime era too. So I'm like, oh, this is where the game can bring me. Let me just, continue doing what I guess I'm here to do. And that's just hoop.
So how did you cope with the pressure, especially with you add?
Again, it wasn't until I got
media.
older. Yeah, it wasn't until like college and that whole thing. So, and I bring up. So the whole college thing. It wasn't until I got to college, 2009, that Twitter became
A thing.
a thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So going from being able to just be a person and live your life and make mistakes or have an opinion without having to be inundated by anybody else's opinion, right? It wasn't there yet. But then, or it wasn't until, again, like I got onto the team, Twitter started becoming a thing.
Yep.
I was actually not even into social media, but at the time, I kind of got involved with it because I was dealing with a situation, a relationship, and like a breakup, and I was trying to like keep stay tapped in with what was going on via social media, and that's when I realized, oh shoot, I can't have a bad game, cause
They're gonna tear me up.
I have one bad game on this new platform. I had hundreds, I mean like thousands of messages of all these people with UNC in they names, right? Talking crazy to me, crazy. And I had never experienced this before, right? I'm like, shoot, I'm used to being
More sheltered, probably.
not even sheltered, just, I mean, like, just the kind of stuff that y'all see today. But like 16, 17 years ago. And I'm 18 years old. They calling me all kind of N-word, right? They calling me all kind of, fuck you, fuck your family, like, your dad sucks, your mom's like talking. I'm just like, whoa. But the thing that got to me was, okay, I get it. All right, I'm on this platform, I'm on this pedestal, and this is kind of how they train you to look at it, right? But then I started feeling like I should still be able to say something though,
That
right?
part.
Like,
That part.
Try to be as amicable as I can, right? Obviously, knowing I represent, the team,
Yourself.
everything, right? So this is when I started to, in my mind, I'm like, as an athlete, I can't say anything, right? I cannot talk as an athlete because I got too much, too much red tape, basically, if you will, right? As an athlete. But as an artist, I might be able to say what I want.
Do your music.
So
That part. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I started to write music, and it wasn't even music at first. It was kind of just like spoken word, like poetry, kind of, you know what I mean? Like more about really just kind of what is it, like a catharsis also,
Mm-hmm.
like kind of just because I went through a pretty rough patch, right? Having like, you know, going from McDonald's All-American playing, having the success that I was used to having to like, you know, I understand that. Trust me, I get why I'm not playing. We got Ty Lawson, we got Wayne Ellington, we got Danny Green, we got Tyler Hansbrough. Like we were stacked. You know, so it wasn't so much that I wasn't playing. It was just like I think I was expecting to have a little bit more cushion to develop, but it just in my mind wasn't there, and so I started to isolate myself a little bit, not being around my family, not feeling like, you know, I was like, you know, again, as a point guard, I was taught to be the extension of the coach on the floor, have a certain relationship with the coach. Me and the coach at the time, you know, kind of started falling out a little bit, and it impacted my mental health. And so I was just at a point where I'm like, yeah, I'm about to just start writing music and see where this takes me, because as an athlete, I can't say nothing, and it's depressing. But as an artist, I feel like I can be a little bit more creative with, you know, in my expression and how I release, right?
Yep.
And so I got into music, and in me getting into music, I remember after we won a national championship too. So coming into college, I was very I did everything by the book, didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't party for real. I was kind of just, you know.
You kept to yourself. You were
Very
focused.
So all my
disciplined.
teammates, right?
Yep.
They saw this in me.
Yep.
They were like, "Yo, come out, come party, come kick it." Like I would try to push back. You know, I had a girl at the time, but then too,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, even if I go out, I'm still not, you know, I'm not turning up, so to speak. But I made a promise to my teammates. They were like, "Larry, what's it gonna take for you to take a shot
Come
with
hang
us?
out. Okay.
Go up, right? In college, go to the frat, have a good time."
Yeah.
I said, if we win a national championship, I'll celebrate. And we won it.
So you celebrated.
So I celebrated.
Okay.
I got back to campus, and again, it was a very surreal feeling. Like again, winning a national championship at the highest level, and knowing that I should feel a sense of like pride in this accomplishment, but I really didn't,
Wow.
and I felt bad about that.
Okay.
So what did you feel?
I felt like I was happy for my teammates, but that was it.
So it was a disassociation. It wasn't even.
Like I was happy for my teammates, like
Right.
knowing that my teammates that put forth and was in there, and even though I was part of that
You did,
to a
Is it
degree.
because you didn't play, or did?
Well, no, you know, it's crazy too, because so I ended up herniating my L4, L5
Oh wow.
Yikes.
During a practice at the Sweet 16.
Okay.
And I was pretty much in excruciating pain for that time period. And I remember thinking too, like, shoot, I've dealt with all kinds of injuries playing basketball, from sprained ankles, dislocated fingers, you know, torn muscles, whatever. But I've never felt like what I felt in my back at that moment. And I remember, you know, trying to talk to the team, like, there's something going on. During the tournament is not the time, right, to be trying to, you know, go soft on your team,
Go
right?
soft, right? It's not
So-
really
When your
soft.
spine
Yeah.
is broken. It's like
When
goodness
my
gracious.
spine broken.
Yeah, and so, you know, instead of me having anybody look at me for real, I was kind of just told, like, you know,
Wow.
we'll shoot you up with some stuff, but you're gonna keep playing through
Yeah.
it. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, actually, don't shoot me up. I'll just play through it, and I'll wait until after the season, and I'll go get it checked out on my own. And that's ended up what happening. And come to find out, I had a tear in my L4, L5, and it's what ended up taking me out of the game, because I've been dealing with it,
Yeah.
you know, my whole career. Never had surgery for it or anything like that.
Okay.
Just went to holistic, you know, physical therapy, a lot of, you know, strengthening, you know, different muscles and what have you. But it was definitely something I dealt with throughout my career. And so I think too that at the time, again, like, you know, you win a national championship, but then it's like, shoot, I got an L4, L5 injury. I didn't even know it was an L4, L5 injury at the
I don't even know
time.
what that
I'm
is
just
now.
in pain. That's all I
Yeah.
know. Like I said, I didn't really feel like I contributed much to the team. Winning, though, I knew I was still a teammate. You know, and like I said, I was happy and proud of my teammates.
Yeah.
But then also too, it was just like everything I had been taught about what it means to be a leader and to be a good teammate at that time from my pops. You know, like I felt like me sulking in that moment took me out of the good teammate kind of conversation, but it's still like shit that I can't really control, right? Like I can just feel how I feel, you know. So I was just like, man, it is crazy. So season's over with. We won a national championship. I go back to the campus, and I'm just like, all right, I guess I, go out and turn up, whatever.
Yeah.
One of my teammates though, he was like, yeah, you should come through. Come to the apartment. we're not gonna drink. We gonna do something else. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't want to call him out, but two of my teammates in North Carolina, I get to his apartment. He's rolling some flowers, some cannabis. And look, I was like, what the fuck was that? I was very nervous. But it's the first time I used cannabis. I smoked some weed.
Okay.
And I ended up listening to Cushion Orange Juice, which is Wiz Khalifa's, flagship mixtape. And I thought at that moment in time, like, I feel great.
Did it help your back? I mean,
you said did it help your back?
It did.
But also, I'm assuming it helped your mental state as well.
It helped my back. It helped it helped all kind of
everything. Okay.
I just was like,
you felt great. You felt grounded.
Honestly, I was trying to like make sense of it, but for real, all I knew is like my dad. I'm thinking back to all the things he's ever told me about, cannabis and dope. He calls everything dope.
Yeah,
like,
everything
that's that generation.
Yeah, and I'm like, I like this feeling. That's all I knew. Like I feel good. I like it, and it's like hopefully this don't make me a dope head, right? But when I go home, I'm in North Carolina smoking weed. And I like it like this. I know California has better weed.
Yeah.
So when I get home, let me see if I can get some better weed.
Okay.
And see if that helps even more.
Okay.
And it did. And I started to use it recreationally, right? But more so from the purpose of like, I legit feel good. Like my body feels good. Like I think people too, it's like, it depends on who you talk to, but like they'll tell you can't really do much on cannabis. You can't work, you can't think. It makes you slow, it makes you lazy. I wasn't really getting that.
Yeah,
it was
okay.
I was in my head, but I didn't feel sluggish or lazy.
Okay.
Your thoughts
slow.
were clearer?
And you felt productive in your day-to-day activity?
Well, I made myself productive.
Okay.
You know? Like that's what I'm saying. Like I knew I had to work out still.
Yeah.
So I would go to the gym. I would go work out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every day, right? I made it a point to stay in shape, but I also wasn't smoking as much. You see what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like an everyday kind of, like a once in a while kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I just knew I just crossed that line. You know what I'm saying? At least if my dad knows, now this what I'm on.
Yeah.
Talking about what's it like with the pressure and the whole, you know what I mean? Like if my dad finds out I'm smoking weed, then
it's over.
Shit,
He gonna take you
disown me.
out. Yeah.
Change your name.
Okay.
So yeah, I just, I kind of kept it under wraps for a little bit until it wasn't under wraps no more. He ended up actually finding out, so I redshirted one season at UCLA after I transferred from North Carolina.
Yep.
And I wasn't like smoking during the season or anything like that. Kind of, made it like my off season kind of a habit. But when I got home to UCLA, I was redshirting what would have been my senior year. So I wasn't playing, I was just practicing. I failed a drug test at UCLA.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And the staff ended up looping in my parents for a phone call and calling me to tell me,
oh,
yo, we just got your results.
Oh, gosh.
And didn't know you were this kind of kid. And my dad's on the phone. And my dad, I just remember he was like, yeah, so...
I can already imagine
he was
him.
like, he's like, so this is what you come back home and start doing? I was like, nah, I've been dabbling here and there. And he was like, yeah, nah, this is just a surprise to me. I didn't know. I was like, well, honestly, I'm glad you did.
Okay.
Like, it's something, I
this is
picked
what
up.
I'm doing.
Like,
Did you tell him that how it was making you feel and how it was helping
I didn't get
you?
into it too much. I just
Okay.
told him I was like, I'm in control. Right?
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nothing you got to worry about.
Yeah.
But again, like, whatever image that you had of me, that I would never possibly even try something like this, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like that's out the window.
It's out the
like,
window, right?
It has to feel good though to feel clean,
Yeah,
just to be able to
free.
be tell them about yourself. And
Well, yeah, I mean, and
Yeah.
again, it's like, fast forward, what, 10 years, 20 years
Oh,
now?
20
Almost 20 years.
Like this
I
is
mean,
what you're doing.
Cannabis, I mean, I'm not per se doing anything in cannabis like for work. My partner, Stephanie, is. She
Yeah.
works directly with Wiz Khalifa now,
Okay.
of all people.
So that tied back into
To
the moment.
your first moment.
Well, yeah,
You were
Yeah.
partying at UNC and you had
Wow.
some Khalifa Kush. And
Right.
now,
So
full
yeah, full circle. But again, I just think as like an advocate of just all things well and trying to help people, especially, athletes, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I would never just tell an athlete like, oh, you having a hard time, you had a bad game, go
Yeah.
smoke some weed, bro.
Yeah.
It's not my message.
Yeah.
But my message is to say, know yourself. Know yourself. You are a brand, you're a commodity, right?
Yeah.
And you got to think about that first and foremost. And that, if you are going to use, right, a little bit, don't let these people see you, right?
Yeah.
Be smart, be responsible. But then too, it's like, I think unless you just go up to an athlete and have a conversation and just start picking their mind or their brain, most people just think like
Yeah.
everything's all good all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So wellness in and of itself, right? Like the mental health aspect of it, like you can't really take care of your body until you are able to take care of your mind first.
Yeah.
And cannabis helps me, establish that, I think, perspective a little bit more foundationally, just because I'm like, you know what, like, cannabis helped me from an artistic standpoint, helped me express myself, it helped me get into a better frame of mind,
Okay.
helped me, with my artistry. It made me feel, like I wasn't as tethered down, like I could reach out to more people, I could do more, I can make more connections.
Okay.
And too, like, again, I think like the NBA now not even testing for cannabis, and you look back, like I want to talk about like stories and what have you. I know so many guys that ended up not even being able to get an education,
Yeah,
right?
because of this.
Right.
Yeah.
And come to find out that it's all not that bad anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
I'm just a steward of my time and my place. And again, I'm just like, these experiences that I'm having, let me at least become somebody who can at least share these experiences with people who might be walking in or going into a space similar from where I've been, because, game has changed a little bit
Yeah.
on and off the court.
Yeah.
But I think players just understanding themselves a little bit more as a valued commodity, as a brand, and then them taking care of themselves in that regard first, and then everything else later, the team, the organization later, is more so kind of the market space that we're stepping into.
So is that so you are transitioning and you are on this journey of self-discovery after you wrap basketball, right? So
Yeah.
so you finish up at UCLA, you play a little bit overseas, you play a little bit in the NBA. And so when you feel like your basketball career is slowly coming to an end, and so now you're in this transitional period of trying to figure out your purpose outside of basketball, is that why like wellness and I guess, like how did that merge from like you transitioning from basketball into what you're
I'm doing now, I
and
just always
connecting
knew
wellness?
I was a facilitator. So
Okay.
like I broke assist records everywhere I went.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my thing. So when I was done with basketball, I knew I didn't want to be a coach. I didn't want to do player development. I didn't want to stay within
in the
that
sports world. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of just wanted to branch off, be an entrepreneur, do my own thing, figure it out. Knowing it financially probably wasn't the best move.
Yeah.
But I believed in myself and I believed in my environment, right? The people
Good.
around me.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I just said do the same things you do on the court, off the court. Put people in position to play to their strengths, right?
Okay.
And in order to do that, it takes some time to learn people, you know, to curate your network, you know, a little bit, understand who all you have surrounding you. And then once you have an understanding, I kind of break it down into two things: KYG, which is know your game.
Okay.
Once you know what you do well, your strengths and your weaknesses, then you can only play to your strengths while trying to mitigate your weaknesses or work on them right when you have some time to.
Love it.
KYG, and then KYP is know your personnel.
Nice.
So once you know your game, then you know your personnel's game and what they do well and what they don't do well, so that you can then play them to their strengths while trying to mitigate weaknesses. So then once everybody on the team knows what they do well and what everybody else does well, KYG, KYP, hopefully y'all all care enough about the team and the squad and everybody else to want to see each other succeed, that you, again, continue to just put people in position to do what they do well only. And then success happens. It's kind of my model. So it's like, how do I surround myself with people who I want to work with and I want to, you know, in one way, shape, or another, you know, do business or stay connected with, right? If not now, maybe later.
Okay.
So that's kind of how, after the game, like my mind just started working, was like, look at your network, look at who you have in as a direct contact, and learn more about what they're doing.
Nice.
And once I just learned more about what everybody else around me was doing, I was like, how can I now be of service by plugging?
So have you turned this concept into a business?
Well, yes.
Okay.
So we have, Stephanie and I, we have Lightwork 360, which is our creative marketing agency.
Okay, so what does that do?
So our tagline, we are architects of iconic culture and design.
Okay.
So basically help ideate, you know, everything from original concepts to, you know, strategies, marketing campaigns. Basic, you know, we host events, we throw events, you know, experiential. The 360 at the end kind of just, I wanted to incorporate like everything. Like, you know, all things creative that somebody might need, we can source, or we can, like, if I can't get it done, Steffi can't get it done, we don't, you know, we can help find somebody to get it done for you, and we can work from there.
Okay.
Are you still involved in your music?
As like a little hobby here and there, nothing that I'm like pursuing heavily, but I do have some music out that I've put out a couple years ago. You go to, I think, Apple Music or Spotify, you put in Larry Light, you'll see one or two songs.
Okay.
But I kind of just wanted to like put that stuff out there, even, you know, knowing that I was working on it. I was very passionate at one point, you know. And
we would be in the studio.
No, I was.
swear, like you would take us to the studio.
The
like
idea
2 in the
was
morning.
to release like a whole project and really put myself out there and actually pursue the artist, you know, my artistry. But I made a decision. Again, kind of just watching and learning more about the production aspect and being more behind the camera, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think that's kind of more my lane, because I'm starting to realize like you got to commit. If you're gonna be an artist, you know, you got to really commit. So and it's not gonna be easy, right? Like
that's a commitment.
And it's not that I'm afraid of hard work. It's just, if I'm gonna work hard now, knowing what I know, I think I'm gonna be behind the camera.
Yeah, it needs to be on something that you actually enjoy and want to do.
Right.
So we asked you to bring a legacy object, something that represents your legacy, where you're trying to go, just how you're evolving. So we're gonna bring it out and have you explain what your object means to you.
Awesome.
We have Evan. Thank you, Evan.
Thank you, Evan. So you brought a children's
puzzle?
Yeah, I'm not even. Yeah, it's a puzzle.
That says legacy.
Yeah, it says legacy.
Show?
So
Which
this
camera?
is
This one? Okay.
my legacy object is a puzzle spelling out my daughter's name, and her name is Legacy.
I love it.
So I think, this just kind of speaks to, again, the legacy that I want to leave behind is, you know, I want it to be felt through the people who have interacted with me and who I've impacted ultimately. And I look at my daughter now, you know, she's 19 months old. Again, like we named her Legacy, you know, I think just for this reason too. So Stephanie and I, my partner, she's an amazing mother, does such an amazing job at making sure that the both of us are you know, more than taken care of. And so, in that spirit, in the spirit of, how I was raised,
Yeah.
I really just want to be the best father that I can.
And I already know that you are, Lair. You really are a great person, and like,
Thank you.
I brag on you a lot because there's not too many people in this industry who are just like genuinely good people. You really are an exceptional human being, and
I
I
appreciate
really
that.
am proud of you.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank you. It
I'm
means
not
a
gonna
lot.
cry, but
Yeah.
I really am proud of you. But I
Thank
want to
you.
ask before we like close, what's one piece of advice you give specifically to men whose lives deviate from what they thought their dream was?
To men whose lives deviate, I would say, if dreams deviate, it means that you've in some way, shape, or form have awakened. You know what I'm saying? And you started to recognize and realize that like there's a difference between the things that you might want and the things that you might need to do.
Yeah.
And so identifying the difference between a dream and reality first and foremost, the acceptance aspect as we get older, I think those of us who are unable to accept have a harder time adjusting and adapting.
Yeah.
And so it's not to say that a dream can't be remanifested
Yeah.
or brought to fruition in some way, shape, or form
Yeah.
down the line. Just didn't see you. It just didn't make sense to you at that time.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's
But
okay.
if you are grounded in truth, if you're grounded in reality, if you're grounded in how you make the people around you feel, I believe that the universe works itself out.
Yeah.
Right. You'll start to recognize like
Yeah.
little signs here and there, things that and if you listen, you'll know what to look for. And again, it's like maybe you had a dream about doing, A, and then come to find out, here's B,
Yeah.
and B is actually a better dream for you than you thought A was
Yeah.
gonna be. So
Yeah.
that's the thing, man. You just never know with life, so you
Yeah.
can't ever be too sure about it. You gotta
Yeah.
just keep
Keep
going.
going.
You can
Keep
dream
working.
a new
That's
dream.
great. Yeah.
You can,
Just
you
dream
can
a new
literally
dream.
dream a new dream.
That's
Yeah.
great.
If you could say anything to your dad, just
would you
looking back over your life and your career, what's one thing you would say to your dad?
In one sentence.
One thing I would say to my pops, I think I would acknowledge the sacrifice. You know what I mean? Like, I think people think it's just easy.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you play basketball, you get to go out to eat dinner at fancy restaurants and hang
Yeah.
around like really rich and like cool, famous people, but it's a toll. It takes a lot of time and a lot of sacrifice
Yeah.
to do what he's done
Yeah.
in that space for as long as he's done it for.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about how I can tell his story.
Yeah.
And it's actually something that I've been working on. So I got some, under my sleeves in that department too. But yeah, I would just thank him for, thank both my parents for
Yeah.
the sacrifice. He sacrificed in one way. She didn't, she definitely did too. My mother in another way, but I know my dad. Ultimately, like his whole thing was like, we don't gotta agree. We don't always gotta be on the same page, but everything that I have is all y'all's.
Yeah.
So y'all are always gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And that's what it's been, like
Yeah.
I think too, like, people look at that and they're like, oh, well, you don't gotta work hard because you got a dad that's like,
Yeah.
willing to provide,
Right.
to do things. And I'm like, it's actually the opposite. It's
Yeah.
like I see that and I'm like, I gotta do that same thing for my family now.
Yeah.
So
Well, we have a surprise for you. We didn't tell you. This was,
Well, because it's a surprise. That's
Well,
the
here's the
definition of
surprise. I
a
was gonna
surprise.
say,
you guys, okay, I'm really bad at keeping
She-
surprises. I'm
She's
really
very
Like,
bad.
I'm the first person
Can't
to
hold.
blow it. I wanted to show you this. Press play. And we'll listen to it together.
Yeah.
Mr. Larry Drew, too. What's up, my man? I just want to let you know just how proud I am of you. Your journey from since you were, just a little fella, and where you persevered through a lot of tough times. I know they weren't easy, but yet you persevered through them, and that says a lot about you and about your character. And again, I'm really, really proud how you took the bull by the horns, and you didn't make any excuses. You just did what you had to do, and that says a lot about you. And as I look at you now, just becoming a father and me becoming a grandfather, and I sit back and I watch your interactions with your daughter. It is such a beautiful, beautiful thing. Keep up the good work, my man. Dad is always here for you. I love you. And again, I am so proud of you.
got me on that one.
Got me, and I'm like,
Oh man.
Here.
wow.
We love you, okay?
That's amazing. Amazing. Thank you. My goodness.
Look, it's
Ah
Keep
man.
falling.
Okay, there we go.
we are
Nah,
so
I
proud of you
I really,
there.
I really appreciate that. That was
Wow.
it means a lot to me. And like I said, it wouldn't be possible without him. So
Yeah.
dang, I feel bad for crying now.
We're all crying at this point. It's like,
I was trying not to.
I was gonna be the one
I was
not
trying not to.
crying, and I'm.
She told me, she goes, Mariah, don't start crying.
I was like, just let me do it. No,
I
I'm
was gonna
fine.
make
Let
a-
me not do this.
All
but
right. Nah, but that was really special. I appreciate that. But
Yes.
I mean, he knows. Like he knows what that means to me and what he means to me. So
Yeah.
thank you for joining us,
Thank you for
Lara. This
coming.
was a beautiful
Part of,
conversation.
yes, you're part of the big family
Yes.
now.
yeah, no, this
We're
is
gonna-
great. This
I'm
was
so happy
about
you're
to
able to
about to go
join.
smoke right now.
Yes.
These are-
I know he went over. I know they're looking at me like, Mariah, we done said 45 minutes. It's been 2 hours and some change.
Well, look, if
But
y'all want a
it
part
was-
2, we can run that. If
Oh,
you guys
absolutely.
ever need, want me to help, bring any of, my constituents
Oh,
this way,
absolutely.
like, I absolutely anything that you need,
Yes.
I got you.
Oh, for
This is
sure.
great.
And
This
we're
is gonna be
working on
great.
more events, and so we will have more opportunities to come together. And
sure.
you're the first person I call when I come here. So this was amazing.
Yes.
We can close out. Okay.
Door closing? Awesome.
Thank you
That's
guys
all
for
right.
tuning in to today's episode of Born to the Game. I'm your host, Mariah.
I'm Tamara Payton.
And please like, follow, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Thanks, Larry.